With just about a week out from signing day, WVU has landed a trio of commitments that are going to help bolster this 2025 class. Let's talk about it. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast here for another WVU football recruiting update. We've got 3 commitments to talk about and 1 decommitment actually to talk about. Previously, happened about a week and a half or so ago, but haven't had a chance to cover it yet on the channel, so I figured I'd throw it in here with this commitment video. We'll lead off with that momentarily before we talk about the 3 commitments, all at positions of need for West Virginia in this upcoming class as West Virginia continues to build this thing up to a really high number of commits here just ahead of signing day. But before we get into that, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder, if you would, do us a favor, hit that like button, just give us a thumbs up on this video. It really helps a ton with that YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe here for your Mountaineer football content, whether it be recruiting news like this, transfer portal updates, coaching news if we end up needing to talk about that. And of course, we have podcasts weekly, live streams weekly, and you can become a channel member here and get bonus content that includes player grades, snap counts, depth chart projections, film reviews, game rewatches, all kinds of fun stuff there available for channel members as well. So you can help us out that way if you want to, and you're kind enough to do that. But the fast, easy, and free way is just hitting the like button and subscribing here to the channel if you would. But having said that, let's get into the news here for the recruiting side of things. Let's start with the decommitment that West Virginia had occur just a little bit ago. And that decommitment comes from Thomas Barr, who put out on social media, "Respectfully, I'm decommitting from WVU and reopening my recruitment process. Appreciative for WVU football. However, I believe it is in my best interest to pursue other opportunities. Excited to restart this process and achieve my goals. So wish him the best in his future endeavors." But now we will update, of course, our recruiting tracker here on the CRW as we continue to keep up with this 2025 class. We will take Thomas Barr out, which I know that's a position of need, the offensive line for West Virginia, right? You need offensive line. You need defensive backs, obviously, judging by how bad the secondary has been this season. But as we remove one, have no fear, we're adding 3 more here to the list, and we'll come back and talk about which 3 here momentarily. But let me show you the 3, and they are at those positions of need. So don't worry. We lose 1 offensive line commit. We've added 2 to replace them, and then we've got to talk about the defensive back position as well. Let's talk about the commits West Virginia received just these past couple of days. Starting with the offensive lineman here, this is Jir Davis, as you see his post here on social media. If you want to follow him there on X at Jir Davis 51. Extremely excited and blessed to announce that I'm officially committed to at WVU football. Tags multiple coaches there, and there you see his post and his picture there from his official visit. But a big offensive lineman. Happy to add him to the class. Let's take a look at his profile here on 247. As you can see, excellent size coming in as a true freshman, 6'6", 305. Reminds me a little bit of the guy that's going to be the left tackle probably next season, Johnny Williams. Jir Davis may be the potential to be, your tackle on the other side in the future, coming in here as a offensive tackle with that type of frame. Coming out of Ohio, West Virginia's done a great job in these borderline states. That continues. More on that momentarily from LaSalle High School there. But 85 grade is a 3-star, so great grade. Top 100 player in Ohio and a top 150 offensive lineman nationally as well. Multiple offers. The main 2 schools that were after him, West Virginia and Marshall. So West Virginia beats out, in-state opponent there, Marshall, on the recruiting trail, which you obviously want to be able to do. West Virginia does that, and maybe a little one flying under the radar here with that great size coming in as a freshman in Jir Davis. But he wasn't the only offensive lineman to commit to the Mountaineers, and he wasn't the only offensive lineman to commit to the Mountaineers out of the state of Ohio even. As you see here on social media from Brandon Homedy, at Homedy_Brandon, committed, #Go Mountaineers, tagging multiple coaches, and there you see his graphic and video from his visit there as well. West Virginia adds him. Let's take a look at his profile. And as you can see, good size as well. Not quite there weight-wise, but that's why, a lot of these freshmen that come in don't play right away. They redshirt. They go through that training program there with Mike Joseph. They'll get up there in size, but he has a great frame, nearly 6'4", and he's out of Cleveland. Also, like I said, out of Ohio there, and good rating as well with an 82. Top 125 player in Ohio and a top 200 offensive lineman in the country for him as well. West Virginia Bowling Green, some of his offers there for another one that may be flying under the radar, but Brandon Homedy, an offensive lineman, as West Virginia looks to add offensive linemen in this class. They're going to need them in the future. They're losing pretty much all their starters from this year's team. They have players ready to replace those, but you still got to build that down the future so that you're ready to reload and not necessarily have to rebuild at that position. But a position West Virginia will be looking to rebuild is defensive back, and they've got a freshman coming in here who's speedy. He'll be able to keep up with people and hopefully not get burned over the top. So let's talk about the other commit, the third part of this trio, and it's defensive back help coming to help assist West Virginia in the secondary, a place that they desperately need assistance in. And that is none other than Tyrell Russell. If you want to follow him there, Mountaineer Nation, it's at D1_Ty Breezy. I'm home, committed, all God the glory, hail WV, prove him wrong, tags multiple coaches, and there you see a nice little Photoshop of him there at Mountaineer Field. Whoever made that did a hell of a job. That looks great there for Tyrell Russell. So he get his commitment there, and now let's take a look at his profile. And funny enough, surprise, surprise, yet again, out of the state of Ohio. So not only does West Virginia get players at positions of need, offensive line and defensive back, not only does West Virginia get a trio of commitments in the past, 48 hours or so, they get a trio of commitments all from Ohio. So another job well done in the borderline states from this coaching staff. That's something they've done a good job of with this 2025 class. Do got to tip my cap for that. Tyrell Russell out of Beechcroft High School there in Columbus, Ohio. Speedy guy. Good guy that you want to have there at cornerback, a good trait that you want to have there at cornerback, and a super high rated 3-star, 87 grade there. Top 100 cornerback in the country, 44 in top 50 player in the state of Ohio, essentially there, nearly top 40 player in the state of Ohio. Previously committed elsewhere. West Virginia is able to flip him. I think he was committed to Ohio, the Bobcats, if I'm not mistaken, but other teams after him, Nebraska, Toledo, Akron, and of course, lands at WVU as West Virginia continues to add players in the secondary. They desperately need to improve their secondary in the future. Hopefully, Tyrell Russell is a piece that can help them. But we talked about the decommitment. We removed them from our commitment tracker. Now let's look at the full commitment list with these 3 players added and take a look at the 2025 class as we close in on signing day, now just over a week away. And as we take a look here, the 3 most recent additions here, this trio that were covered in this video, West Virginia, like we said, the decommit earlier from the offensive line, but they pick up 2 more there in Brandon Homedy and Jir Davis, who we have discussed there. And then, of course, the defensive back addition, also out of Ohio, Tyrell Russell. There, we can add them to the commitment list here for West Virginia, and I'll scroll through this slowly. Some of you guys may not know some of these names, but as you can see, as I talked about, West Virginia getting some in-state commits, are really doing a good job in the borderline states, the Ohio's, the Pennsylvanias, the Marylands, the Virginias, commits out of all of those states there, and doing a great job in those, and other states there surrounding West Virginia, and then dipping into Florida, Georgia, getting some of those southern players, as West Virginia's always done a good job of there. Multiple commits out of the state of Florida, but really, as you see, a lot of good job in those borderline states, multiple Ohio commits, multiple WV commits, Maryland. And then looking like a good class overall there, as West Virginia has now built this thing up to a great point. We're talking 20-plus commits here already ahead of signing day. Hopefully all of these guys sign on the dotted line, honor these commitments, and become signings for West Virginia on signing day, which we will cover here on the Country Roads webcast. But there's the class as it sits now after the additions of Homedy, Davis, and Russell to this class as offensive linemen, couple of those, and a defensive back here to add to our 2025 verbal commitment list. But there you have it, Mountaineer Nation, the latest recruiting update from us here at the Country Roads webcast. We'll continue to cover this as it develops ahead of signing day, if any other commits come in for West Virginia, and hopefully no more decommits on that side of things. Knock on wood there, right? But then, of course, once signing day arrives on December 4th, I'll be going live that morning to cover them signings as they come in throughout the day there, throughout the morning for West Virginia. Be covering that early that morning, so look out for that on December 4th. But other than that, any changes arrive along the way, we will cover them here on the CRW as well, if I could get that sentence out correctly there. But I appreciate you guys tuning into this video, and like I said, if you didn't do it at the beginning, be sure to do it before you head out here at the tail end. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for all that future coverage on WVU football. Having said that, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.